Hello, I'm Craig McLean and welcome to episode 30 of the Mark 1 Escort RS2000 reassembly. This episode is all going to be about dotting the I's and crossing the T's. We've got a list to go through. It's going to be mix and match, loads of different jobs. It's getting well on towards completion now, so we'll work our way through that list and see how we get on.
So I'll start this video off by showing you some of the parts I've just received this last week, because as you're probably aware by now, I've just took a week off work and I'm going to spend the next week really pushing this car on. I'd like to get it somewhere near finished. I reckon if things go well, by the end of the week the car will be about 98% finished, somewhere near ready to crank over. So most of these bits have come from GS, some of them have come from eBay, but I'll go through them now. So we've got the heater connections. These go from your heater, this bit here connects into your heater, and then they go up to the vents in your dash. I've always had the heater fitted, but I've never had the connections. I've got the vents in the dash, I just haven't got these joints. So they came from GS Escorts. They just need a little wash and then they can be fitted. I've got various battery terminals and connections, so I can make up the battery leads to go from the solenoid to the battery and from the body to the battery. These all come from eBay, various different crimps and stuff. I've got a 40 amp fuse for the power steering kit, because the power steering kit didn't come with the fuse, so I can fit that. These came from Aldridge retrimming. These are the little clips that hold your rear panels in place. So, you know, next to your rear seat, you've got the back panels. Well, these hold them in. They came from eBay, but through from Aldridge through eBay. I've got the clip that holds the speedo cable into the gearbox. This is just the cancelling gear for the indicator stalk. The indicator stalk I've bought is brand new. It's a reproduction. I'm told by GS lads it's a much better quality than the original, but it looks the same. So that's on order and it's still to come, but I've got the little cancelling gear for that when it comes. I've got the Group 4 universal joint, so I can now get the steering column connected to the steering rack and get all that tightened up. I've got a new set, or refurbished, I don't know which, set of washer jets. I can get them fitted. That's just another little job. I've got one grommet for the bell house, and I actually need two. It's my fault. I should have told the GS lads I needed two when I ordered, so I've got another one of them coming. These are just, GS lads have really helped me out here. I needed a set of these little rubbers, these little door buffers, and they're anywhere between 30 and 50 quid, which is absolutely ridiculous. So what they've done is they've sent me some second-hand ones that are in decent condition, and the bolts and screws and everything for, well, put it this way, I've saved about 30 quid. I think they sold me these for 20 quid, and they were about anywhere between, I think they were about 50, something like that. So I can make good of what's there to make my own, to fit my own application. So that's spot on. Thanks to the GS lads for that. Now then, seat belts. I've actually got new seat belts because although I have this section, I have the clasps in the centre, which are in pretty decent condition. They've cleaned up all right. I didn't have the seat belts, and when I was talking to various people, people were saying, do you really want to put 40-plus-year-old seat belts in? Do you only rely on something that's that old? They could be frayed, they could be weakened, you just don't know. And the GS lads fit these to every car they build, which, as you can see, although they're not exactly the same, they're not a million mile away. You've got your press button in the middle, same as you would with the original. So I decided for, I think these were about 120 quid, for a brand new set of inertia reel seat belts. I thought, why not? Let's just make it a little bit safer and put some modern seat belts in. And I don't think that's a bad price either. I think that's a fairly decent price, and it's secure on as well. So they're not a cheap seat belt set. They are a decent seat belt set, them. So that's another little job this week. And then you'll have seen in the last episode me holding on to a steering wheel. And this is the steering wheel I've decided to go for. I've always been a big fan of these, the deep dish wheels. I think they look absolutely amazing in place. The GS lads fit them to some of their cars. I've seen them on other cars at shows, and every time I see one, I just think, yeah, that's the steering wheel for me. I really like that. So that's another little job I can get on with this week. I can hopefully get that fitted if my indicator stock comes, and I can get all the column built up and complete. So yeah, that's just another couple of bits. I have got some other bits still awaiting to come. I've got some dash trims, various bits and bobs that still haven't came yet, just to push the car on this week. But I really do have a lot I can get on with now. I've also got, which I haven't put in my pile, but I've also got the the reverse light. Sorry, the number plate light that you'll have seen in the last episode that needs cleaned up and fitted, so that's another little job. It's all odds and sods, as I've said in the past. It's all odds and sods I'm on with now. But this week, off work, I'm going to be very busy. I've actually got an item list. I'll just get it, actually. That's 17 things that I need to do. So we've got heater pipes, washer jets, door striker buffers, speedo cable clip, bell housing and grommets, steering UJ, battery cables, fit rear panels properly with the proper clips that I've just shown you, fit the seat belts, dash trim, fit plug for ignition switch and reroute stock cables, that's all to do. Fit engine gearbox, well sorry, fill engine gearbox and diff with oil. I'm going to go and get that oil this week. Indicator stock if it arrives. Fit the new strut. You'll have seen in the previous episode that my driver's side front Bilstein strut is bent. I'm just awaiting the new one coming, so if that comes I can get on with that as well. Fit number plate light after clean up. Fit ignition switch and connect up, and washer jet pipe work to route. So that's going to go from the bottle at the front up to the jets. So yeah, I've got loads to get on with this week, I'm pleased to say. I'm going to get busy now and get cracking with some of them jobs. So yeah, again, thanks to the GS lads for their swift sending out of these parts. They're a really, really great help, the GS lads. So, you know, if you're the type of person that's watching these videos thinking, I'd love to do one of these, but I maybe haven't got, you know, build one of these cars, but I maybe haven't got the technical ability to do it, the GS lads, I can honestly recommend, will build you an awesome car. You want to have a look at the Mark II Mexico they're currently building. If you haven't seen it, go on their website. They put on the Facebook page, they put constant updates about that Mark II Mexico. It's absolutely stunning. So they will build you an awesome Mark I, Mark II Escort, whatever, you know, to your exact requirements, whatever you want. But you will have to bear with them because they are very, very busy, as all good places are. So anyways, let's crack on with some of them jobs. Right, that was a bit of a long haul, but I've now got the ignition switch mounted, connected, the right plug fitted, and what I've also done is I've run a continuity test, basically a beep test, from the main incoming live at the solenoid. So that's where all your lives meet from the battery that feed absolutely everything in the car up through the ignition switch. And then what I've done is I've went from that main live, and then position 1 makes this fuse box here live. So that terminal there on the front of the fuse box, when I turn that key to position number 1, that fuse box becomes live. When I turn the key to position number 2, items that should be on the second position work. So that'll be the cigarette lighter comes on with number 2. Also the engine management comes on with number 2, because position number 2 remains live when cranking. What that means is when you turn the key to position 2 and then you turn to the starting position, position 2 still remains live, whereas position 1 doesn't. So your engine management needs to come off a permanent live source. What I mean by that is, if you were to turn the key and the ignition management was to lose power while you were turning the key, then it's never going to start because you won't get a spark. So the engine management needs to be live when cranking, which is what I've done here. I've took it from the live side of the ignition switch, so when cranking it'll remain live. So yeah, I've done as many tests as I can. Everything seems to be working as expected, but we won't know exactly until I get a battery connected. I've got my bit of paper here with all my connections on that I've been going through and checking everything out, and so far so good. I did have one little issue. The cable that connects to the solenoid to tell the solenoid to kick in, to tell the car to start, I had an intermittent fault on it, and all it was a bad crimp on the solenoid connection. So I basically stripped that off, fitted a new crimp, and it's now absolutely spot on. It's best finding these issues now rather than when we come to put a battery on, but I'm still very, very nervous for powering it up because I've done so much to the wiring. You know, there's a lot that can go wrong, and probably things will go wrong, but we'll see. I've been very methodical in everything I've done, so I'll just have to keep my fingers crossed. And there we are. Obviously I haven't got the indicator stalk fitted, but you get the idea. Steering wheel, I'm absolutely chuffed with how that looks. I really do love the look of these wheels. And there you can see it all built up with the ignition barrel in. And if we take the ignition key, bet you thought I was going to start it there, didn't you? Not quite yet. But another little job I've done as well is I painted first coat on that power steering motor just to make it blend in a bit better, and I think it definitely does. It just takes the edge off it. So that needs another probably 2 coats to finish it off. But yeah, that's as far as I'm going with them little jobs now. Let's move on to somewhere else. Right. First day off work. Monday the 4th of October. Let's get cracking and get as many of them jobs crossed off that list as we possibly can. The question is, where do I start? Dip. Right, job number 1, door buffers. I've managed to get them off the old brackets. I've managed to get the screws out without rounding the heads off, using a bit of shock treatment. Phillips screwdriver and a hammer, basically give them a bit of shock first, and they've come out no problem. They've cleaned up well. So join me now to see how this job can screw me over. Because the more simpler jobs you think will be straightforward generally do screw you over in some way. So let's hope not, but let's try and get these fitted to the car and hope the doors shut properly with them fitted. Right, it might sound very strange because this is a very basic and simple job, but I am so very pleased that that went well, because what I always find is how well your first job of the day goes generally dictates how the rest of the day is going to go. So if your first job goes terrible, generally you have a terrible day. That's went well, both doors closed nice. I've done the other side as well. It's days like this I wish the car was outside, but in true Cumbrian fashion it is pouring down, so I can't, I've got to work in the garage. But yeah, number 1 out the way. Door striker buffers, clean and fit, finished. Next job, it's time to get the soapy water out. Let's get these washed and get them fitted. Well, they've cleaned up really nice. A mate of mine actually put his in the dishwasher, and to be honest, if I'd give it some thought prior, I probably would have done the same myself. So they've all cleaned up nice. It's nice to see original Ford Motor Corporation parts. I really do love original parts. You can't always get them, unfortunately. I wish you could get everything original, because I'd have it. I've also put new pop rivets in, so we'll get them fitted now, get them pop riveted in, get the flexi ducts in, and cross that off the list. And there we have another job out the way, fitted, connected up to the to the vents, all connected in properly, pop rivets, pop riveted back to the heater. If you're interested, the heater, I did a full refurb on the heater many episodes ago. If you go back through some of my old videos, I couldn't tell you which one, but I did a complete refurb of that. It was all repowder coated and everything, and it really does look the part. But yeah, that's another little job I can now cross off that list. Heater pipes, clean and fit. Complete. A little item that wasn't on my list is these. I've just received these through the post. Obviously these are relays. I've got my relay box under the dash, which has got no relays in. I won't video this is straightforward. These just push in, but these are the three relays. I think one of them's for the fuel pump, one of them's for the radiator fan, and the other one is the front heated window. That's all 3 of them. We've already got one fitted for the rear. So yeah, just another little job I'm going to get on with now. Now I'm not going to be able to, and there's no point in recording this little job. That's just the grommet for the bell housing. I need 2, unfortunately I've only got 1. And the clip that holds the speedo cable into the gearbox, using these special pliers to squeeze the clip in and insert it. So I'll get underneath the car now and get these 2 little jobs done. But like I say, it's basic stuff. I don't think there's any point. And I'd really struggled to get in with the camera, to be honest, because the car's so low to the ground. I'm probably going to struggle to get in it anyways. Speedo cable clip done. And bell housing grommet ×1 left. Right, I think the next little job I'm going to tackle is this here, number 8. Fit rear panels properly with the new inserts. So that's the rear interior panels. I've got the little ashtrays to fit into it. Clip them in properly and then use the clips I showed you earlier to hold the panels in. So I'll whip the first one out now. I'll let you see that when it's done. Really straightforward. And there we go. That's that little job out the way. There's the little ashtrays fitted, and you can just see the heads of them little fixing clips that hold the rear panel in. Now this rear panel was covered, both of them were rather, in leather covers that I got, which I think look absolutely great. And the only thing they are missing is the armrests that fit into that section there. And I've basically give up looking for them. I've looked everywhere. I've asked loads of people, and they just don't seem to be about. Whether they just get damaged and threw out or what, I don't know. I would like to get some because I've got the little leather covers to go on them as well. So yeah, if anyone does have any, please let me know. But I don't hold out much hope because I have asked loads of people. I've looked everywhere and they just don't seem to be available. But that is another one to tick off. Number 8. Fit rear panels properly with the new clips. Another one to tick off. Right, what's next? Next little job. You've seen this earlier in the video, how rusty it looked. And that's took me about maybe 20 minutes or so to completely bare metal it. I'm now going to do that in etch primer and a couple of coats of satin black. I know it wasn't black originally, but that's what I'm going to do with it. So I've got the glass with the seal. I've fitted some new stainless steel bolts to hold the glass in, get rid of the old rusty ones, and then we can get it painted, put together and mounted. So let's get on with that now. Right, I'm just going to show you how I make up the battery leads. Obviously you can crimp these on, which is a correct way to do it, or you can always use this method. Now I've got this old soldering iron, which is my mate. It's a beast. You won't heat that up with a standard soldering iron. You do need a heavy duty one. So all I do is I tin the end of the soldering iron, put a decent amount on, and I hold that against the side of the crimp. And there we go, it's now starting to flow. Through the hole in the end of the crimp. And I basically keep on going until we fill the end of that crimp right up. And there we go. After a little bit of heat shrink, we've got an absolute solid terminal. That will go absolutely nowhere. Just going to do the other end now, which will be a battery connection, but I'm just going to get some of them prepared. I'm not actually going to do them today. I'm just burning a bit of time while I'm waiting for paint drying. Right, another thing I've just made up while I've got the soldering iron out is the earth to go between the body and the engine. I'll get this fitted now and I'll show you exactly where I fitted it. Yeah, that went together quite nicely. Right, there's our engine earth fitted. I've came off a 10mm bolt on the block on a machined face across, and then I've drilled and tapped the chassis leg to 8mm, put a stainless steel fixing in. So that should give the block a real good earth when we're cranking over. So that's another little job out the way. And there is our little number plate light fitted, loomed in and connected. A bit pointless, this little light, I think. I think it only has something like a 4.5 watt bulb. It's not going to put out much light. I have seen, I think you can get two on a bracket, so you have, two next to each other. But I'm not too worried. It's only for legislation at the end of the day. So yeah, that's all painted up black nicely. Stainless steel fixings again, and it's connected. So that's another job I can tick off my list right now. So where are we at with this list then? So washer jets, that's another job to do this week. Bellhouse and grommet, I need one more. Steering UJ, I'll probably do that tomorrow or Wednesday. Battery cables to make up and fit. Well, we've made a start. We've done the one from the engine to the body. Seatbelts I'm probably going to do tomorrow. Dash trim I'll do tomorrow if it arrives. That'll probably be later in the week. Indicator stoke I'm still waiting for. I'm still waiting for the strut. Number plate light, that's now finished. We can cross that off our list. And washer jet pipe work. So yeah, that's it for today. We'll make another start again tomorrow and work our way through this list. Right, day 2, Tuesday. I think I'm going to start today with number 9 and fit the seat belts. Let's get all them fitted in nicely. I'll let you see different aspects of that. Then I might move on, depending on how well that goes, to the steering UJ and shaft to get the steering finished. and then maybe move on to some more battery cables. I'm still waiting for the dash trim coming. I'm hoping that comes today, so that might dictate what we do today, but let's see how we get on. Well, it's been a bit of a stressful day in one way or another. I've had a few issues along the way, but the seatbelts are fitted, and I'm really pleased with them, to be honest. They're a nice fit. They're a good quality bit of kit, as you'd expect with Securon. I was a bit concerned that this bit here might look a bit naff, because the original buckles in the centre had 90-degree feet bent onto the bottom, and these didn't. And I did think about bending the feet on them, but then I thought, no, what you could end up doing is weakening the seatbelt, and then there's the potential for it to fail in an accident. So I did not bend it in the end. I thought, no, it's too much of a risk. So I used the little brackets, but what I did do with them is I cut them down to make them a bit more, less bulky, and I've painted them black as well. And I don't actually think they look out of place, and they actually make it so the seatbelt is in exactly the right place, both sides. So I'm quite pleased with that. Yeah, they finished off really nicely, as you can see, a little cap to hide the bolt. I did have an issue on this side, the hole in the inner sill where the threaded nut on the inside. I actually spot welded it onto the new floor when I was building the car. Well, the thread was full of crap and it would not unclog, and it kept binding up. In the end, I ended up having to ratch and find a tap to clear it out, which is 7/16 UNF. If anyone needs to know, that's what the bolts are, and I had to run a tap through it. Once I run a tap through, it was no problem at all. Another little thing I've done is I've now attached the steering column to the rack, and I fitted that little piece you see me make earlier. That's now bolted to the floor, but I'm still not happy with that because it's actually pulling on the shaft. I think I just need to do a little bit more with it just to make it, give it a little bit more clearance. I'll probably do that first thing tomorrow morning. Absolutely spot on. Happy with that. So, number 6 steering UJ. I can cross that off. Plus floor seal, yeah, that's done. And fit seatbelts, number 9. So yeah, we are making some headway with this this list now. We haven't got as much done today as I would have liked, but it's all progress. Day 3. I've already gone on and I've sorted out that problem with the seal around the steering column that I just mentioned from yesterday. That now is sitting in a nice resting position. It's not being forced. It's just sitting where it should be. So today, first job, washer jets. Then I think I'll get on to battery cables. I'll finish off the battery cables, get the earth cable and the positive cable made up. And then if this dash trim comes, which is supposed to be coming today, we'll get on and we'll fit that as well. But let's see how it goes. Right. That's the washer jets fitted, and I've started piping them up. I've linked the two together. I'll be honest, I've never been a fan of that pipe running around the bubble like that. I'd much rather it was hidden, but for me to hide it means I'd have to fully redesign everything and take it, further away from what it is really. It's meant to be like that, and although I don't like it, that's the way it is supposed to be. So that's that bit done. All I've got to do now is I've got to come from there to the water bottle, but I need to figure out exactly how I'm going to do that because I want to hide the pipe. I don't want it running along here, along the chassis leg. It wants to be hidden. So we'll think about that later because I actually haven't got enough pipe to link from the T-piece back, so I'll have to get some more pipe. And I've also done the battery leads. Now obviously they won't remain like that. Once the battery's in place, I'll neaten them up. I'll maybe even P-clip the battery into place. I'll make it the right length and everything. Same with the earth. I can't really go any further until I get a battery, but that's 2 little things I can cross off my list. So washer jets fit number 2. Goodbye. Done. Bells and Grommets still waiting for battery cables to make up. They are now done. They just need probably neatened up when the battery finally arrives, when I finally get one ordered. Right, this one here, number 10, dash trim. This is going to cause a lot of controversy, what I've done. I've done something today that I'm really happy with, but it'll cause a lot of controversy. I'll show you it now. It certainly won't impress the purists, that's for sure, but let me show you exactly what I've done. Right, to get the proper effect, I've turned the lights off in the garage because I just couldn't, it was just glaring. Now, that is real woven carbon fibre, and I've even used the front fascia of that carbon fibre for the heater control sticker. Now, I know a lot of people will hate me for this because it's not an original piece of trim, but this car did originally have a piece of trim on here. I would have preferred it if it had no holes and had no trim on in the first place, but it had a trim on, and the only trims that are available are not really to my liking. So I thought, right, well, what would I do? What would I pick if I could decide back in the day? And I'm a big fan of carbon fibre, I really am. And I think that looks great, I really do. I know it's not original by any stretch of the imagination, but I really do like that. And I've shaped it to the contours of the dash. I've put the hole in for the cigarette lighter when it arrives, and obviously the sticker. I really like that. And like I say, I know a lot of people won't, but it's down to personal taste, I suppose. Right, number 10, dash trim to fit and heater control sticker. Done. So that only leaves filling the engine, gearbox and diff with oil. The indicator stalk hasn't arrived yet, the strut hasn't arrived yet, and washer jet pipe work. This might be what I'll end up doing tomorrow. I might go and see if I can get some washer jet pipe and get on with that, because I'm getting to the point now where I'm starting to run out of jobs to do, which is unbelievable, to be honest. Right, day 4. I've got to admit, I haven't done a hell of a lot today. But what I have done is the pipe there, you can see from the T-piece, it goes down. I've run it around underneath the throttle bodies with the rest of the ignition loom and pipe work. It goes down under, runs through this wrap here. So I've actually run it in the wrap. You can just see it coming out of the wrap at the bottom there, and then up to the pump. I'm chuffed with how that's went because I've managed to hide all that pipe. All you can see is the bit at the pump and the bit up there at the top end. So that is brilliant. But what's even better is I'm going to end this video with some really positive news. I've actually put a matching set of terminals on now. That's not the news, but you probably noticed earlier one of them didn't match the other. I've swapped them over. But my mate Anthony brought a battery over a couple of hours ago. In fact, probably about an hour ago. It was the wrong terminals, but he just held them on. And I've basically went right through the electrical system, and absolutely everything we've tried worked first time perfectly. Side lights, radiator fan, you know, windscreen wipers, the fan for the heater blower for the car, interior light, the number plate light, basically everything. I haven't found anything yet that didn't work, and you have absolutely no idea how happy that makes me, because wiring faults can be an absolute pain to find, and when you spend all that time looming them in so nicely, it's even harder. So I was nervous as hell when the battery went on, but there was no sparks to start with, which is always a good sign. Battery went on, ignition, and I even cranked the engine over. I just give it a quick blip, and the engine turned over as well. So we're getting there now. We really are getting there. So washer jet pipe work, reroute and connect, done. So that doesn't leave much on that list for the next video. We're still waiting for a few items. That's holding me up, but that can't be helped. That's just how things are at times.
Well guys, unfortunately we've run out of time to get the car running in this episode. I didn't think we would, but I did kind of hope I might have at least seen a little bit of life out of it. But if you join me in the next episode, I'm going to be putting the fluids in, I'm going to be getting the electrical system powered up, go through any electrical gremlins that we may have and rectify them, hopefully get it spinning over and getting a tune out of it. So I do hope, fingers crossed, that in episode 31 we'll hopefully see the RS running and hopefully sounding absolutely beautiful. People keep saying to me, why don't you just put a battery on and give it a go? And there's a good reason for that. I'll explain why. I've been here before where I put so much time and effort and love into a build, and then when you come to the point where you come to fire it up, you realise you've got a real major issue that's been completely unforeseen, and it maybe means that you've got to take a big part of the car back to bits again, or even sometimes an engine out, and it just feels like a massive boot in the face when still talk a boot, and you just feel like walking away and never looking at it again. And although I'm excited to see it running, I'm very nervous that there might be an issue somewhere that I've just missed or something unforeseen. You just never know with these things. When you do a build on this magnitude, you can't foresee everything. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also very nervous. But it's going to be coming very, very soon. So join me on episode 31, and hopefully you'll see a bit of life out of this RS. So thanks very much for watching as always, guys, and I'll hopefully see you very, very soon.